We don't have a song.
No, we don't have a song for the opening tonight.
Do you want to sing anything?
We could sing Toot Sweet. Toot Sweet? No, that's shit.
My name's Chris.
My name's Kristie.
This is the Washing Up Podcast. We're not singing in the introduction today. Don't panic.
There'll be songs.
Songs are a-coming. But that was the first episode of Sweet Week.
Dude!
Sweet.
Thank you.
I thought about leaving you hanging there for a minute and then decided against it.
Good.
I mean, it's almost a smut week for the starting point because there was lots of comments in about the first 15 minutes.
Yeah.
That kind of led me down that path.
Well, initially I thought he was like, was it George that was trying to make everyone like join the revolution? Raise your mallets, comrades.
Upon the high. And then when there were references to people eating their boxes, and
just smash your box. It's kind of like, ooh, okay.
There was a lot of box smashing going on, followed by a lot of box munching happening afterwards. And George was going around and sampling a bit of everybody's box.
It's kind of like, George, slow down, cobber.
Makes me feel a little bit.
There's so much box munching going on. It made me feel like I was back at the Lizard Lounge back in the early 2000s. Or late 90s.
Hello to all you local Sydney-siders there too. And then just as I thought the smut was easing off a little bit, Pete had to comment on, what's that?
My coconut.
It's my coconut.
And everyone got stuck into his creamy coconut.
Yeah, everyone was enjoying Pete's creamy coconut. And also there was also a comment around the same time where they were opening it up and that was where one of them turned around and went, I can't remember which one of the judges it was, turned around and went, look at that crack. Just look at that crack.
Well, he is a tradie, technically.
Technically. So, it is Sweet Week, and we started off...
with a mystery box.
With a mystery box, which was actually an edible mystery box.
And I think they actually broke the curse by smashing the box. Like, sympathetic magic. It's like, oh, this box is cursed. Smash it. Get rid of the curse. Just for people who know what I'm talking about.
Maybe they did.
Maybe
and then
not.
it was really interesting to sort of watch the way that that first challenge went. When who was it? One of them said they wanted to use the dark M on the box and just the dark M down to get a different texture on their dish. And I'm like, dude, that's far too much.
Yeah, fuck that shit. Just use the chocolate.
And as we've talked about a number of times already, winning this challenge isn't what you'd call a good omen.
No, it's generally a curse.
I mean,
I don't know why people try anymore. It'd be kind of like, fuck that, I'm coming dead last. What are you serving up? A bit of this box I smashed off.
Yeah, I mean, it was good enough. It was really interesting because we've had this history of, and again, not just in this series, but in previous series, whenever you get the advantage. The advantage
more
usually
likely end up in the bottom three.
It usually screws you over, and I was really worried because Pete, our friend Pete, who, God, he's got a good sense of humour.
The tweet tonight where it goes, just in case you lovely people out there don't know it,
I'm a crane operator.
Yeah.
And it was just... it met one of my big issues that I've seen this year, which is that...
The over-editing of it.
The over-editing and the amount of repetitive narrative. We get it.
Yeah.
Okay, we get it. And... Again, and your follow-up tweet, which...
No way! Next you'll be telling me Eloise wants to open a whiskey and dessert bar.
Which Eloise found amusing, which is, again, shows they've got a sense of humour and also shows they understand, the way this is coming off at times to
and
people.
I think most of...
And it's not them, it's the editing.
Exactly. I think 99% of us who watch reality TV understand that there's real people doing this, but that there's also kind of like the persona that's edited onto... the TV and also the person behind it. We don't necessarily think the two are the exact
they're not
same.
the same person. No, they're not the same person at all. For example, I've said a number of times on here that Benjamin irks me greatly.
He's probably a lovely guy.
Probably a wonderful guy.
Probably less irksome than me in real life.
I've not got experience of both of you. I couldn't possibly comment. Also, we'll live under the same roof and you might kill me. So...
What are you casting aspersions?
You cast aspersions by saying that you might be more irksome.
Irking someone is more like aggravating, not like fucking
but if I support that comment, then I may get killed.
wine, Chris.
Haven't had that much to begin with.
It's going out. I'm a murderer now. People are going to be like, oh, not listening to this podcast. Or I might listen to it. It might be the next Serial.
Hey, Serial's a big hit, I'll have you know.
I know, but I don't want to be the one in jail trying to defend my innocence.
I just like the idea that you actually suspect that from that one comment people will think you've killed before.
Suspect I killed before? Or I'm capable of killing?
For those people listening those people listening in the vehicle driving somewhere right now, I apologise for that high-pitched tone.
So you should. You've just told them all I'm a potential murderer.
Aren't we all potential murderers, really?
I'm fun employed at the moment. What if a future employer is listening to this?
You're not fun employed.
I was made refundant.
Yeah, you were made refundant. You're undergoing refundancy. Anyway, so back to MasterChef. Back to MasterChef. We'll cut back to MasterChef.
Yes.
Now there was one of the desserts that we both made a comment on that.
Cremo. How many fucking times do I have to hear that? Now, I know it's a thing, and I know it's like a French word that means creamy, but does everything have to be a cremo? And it's not said in a French accent,
now,
and you're not French, and you're going, I'm just making this cremo that looks like baby poo, and I'm not sure if I'm going to serve it, because it's got matcha in it. That's why it looks like baby poo. No, cremo. Fuck! I almost rage quit MasterChef tonight. Nothing against you, Aram. It's the cremo.
Now, for those people out there, and again, you may want to rewind this back to the moment where I commented that someone could potentially be a killer, and I got told, no. And then this got followed by this rant about cremo. Having said that, I 100% agree with you. And the more annoying part about it was that it was the moment where they cut back from ad, and Aram was talking about his dish, and every second word, legitimately, cremo. So the cremo is in there, and the cremo here, and the cremo there. One of them where the cremo is the cremo, and the cremo is the cremo, and the cremo. Shut up, we get it. And also matcha, and later on chamomile. Can we please put a moratorium on use of tea in dessert?
See, I get that, all right. Particularly matcha. I know it's like
I'm
the
over
flavour
matcha.
of the moment. Like you just combine two things that are kind of like the things of the moment, cremos and matcha, and mash them together. But I am aware, and this is pointed out to me by Amanda, I'm aware that I possibly have a little bit of an issue with wanky French terms, okay? And that's just part and parcel of cooking, okay? And yes, it's a bavois. Thank you, Amanda. I just feel that maybe I was killed by French pastry in a past life.
Not by a French person, not by somebody in a bakery, by French pastry.
Yeah, like an errant eclair just came flying through a window and knocked me out into the way of an oncoming horse carriage.
The great eclair massacre of 1886.
Yes, I was its first victim.
You were its only victim.
No, so I know that, and I'm introspective, and I think, okay, are we like becoming like spoilt by what's going on cooking shows and overexposed, because we do watch a lot of cooking shows.
Yeah, but to be fair on that point, the target audience for MasterChef
are people who watch a lot of
cooking shows. If you watch MasterChef, chances are it's not the only show you watch that's a cooking show. They staggered the start of this season to make sure that it didn't bump into the other big cooking show.
Yeah.
And also then they stagger those to make sure they don't bump into other cooking shows. So they expect you're all watching all of the cooking shows.
It does help because you're either in the Reno crowd or you're in the cooking show crowd. So it does help us. But yeah, I just think, do I need a break? Like, do I need to just like after MasterChef? There's a bit of no, there's no lull. We go straight into Bake Off. Oh my God.
And to be fair, I'm looking forward to that. I can't wait to get into Bake Off. Oh my God, it's good. So back to MasterChef. We had the cremo / matcha, whatever the hell that was.
And I have to say, I think Aram said cremo as many times as they've mentioned that Eloise wants a dessert and whiskey bar.
Yeah, but it was in one episode.
I know, exactly, in that 5 minutes. So I think that's where it went a bit nuts.
It was all in one episode.
Yeah. And I have to ask, how shit were the other dishes looking that they got Aaron's up to try?
Yeah, I mean, look, when Aaron commented and went, I'm surprised they picked my dish, and I think my response online was,
So
not
are
as
we.
surprised as everybody at home.
It was a poo party.
It really was, and yeah, it was...
I can tell you, I have emptied an ileostomy, which is like a colonostomy bag, on about a 3 or 4 month old child, because I was a nurse. And I
Yeah,
can
I
tell
had to
you,
clarify that you were a nurse. It wasn't just random.
yeah, I can assure you that there were very similar like great similarities between the look and consistency.
Oh, I mean, there was one dish. There was one dish tonight that I was it Aram's? It might have been Aram's where I commented on. They were talking about it was Aram's, where she said when they turned up for judging, and she went, "It looks natural to me." And my comment was, "It does look natural. Our cat threw something up like that last week."
I'm sure I've seen that smeared up the back of a child and over their cot. At
I'm
some
sure
point.
I've seen it smeared on the floor when Polly's walked past and gone, "Meow," clean that up.
Yeah.
So that took us into the challenge.
It did, yes.
Now, just quickly before we get into the challenge, the other one I wanted to mention was great work at repeating last year's dish by Teresa in the fallen ice cream cone.
Yeah.
You know, can we, I mean, a little bit of originality.
I guess it's a thing now, this dropped ice cream.
It is, but you should probably give, my view on that is, you should probably, with those sorts of really heavy end things, they should probably try to give those like a year off before you do it again.
Yeah, and avoid it, but that's going to be something I think we'll talk about in the next challenge to do with Bryan.
Who I
really like.
Yeah, we'll talk about Bryan now. So, into the next challenge. Now, we began with a world of pure imagination.
Come with me.
And by the way, we don't synchronise our tweets.
No, we didn't.
But we both at the exact same time tweeted the snozzberries taste like snozzberries. Because it did look like that. And I think most people online went the same way, so it wasn't out of character.
And something I want to find out, because they said the entire wall is edible. So I'm like, okay, does that mean the plasterboard's also edible? Because if it is, fucking Reno City, here we come. Because we have to renovate this house for a bit. And I don't watch Reno shows, so I just presume you can get edible plaster. And how handy is that? You go, people come over, I guess, and you're like, oh no, I've got no biscuits in the pantry. Crack off a bit of plaster.
I've watched Reno shows in the past, and I don't remember Scott Cam hoeing down on a wall.
This is mighty fine plasterboard you got here.
This is made of
what?
Morning coffee biscuits.
Oh,
anyway,
nice.
So might have 10. So we went into this challenge, and the advantage, I didn't think it was an advantage. Now, the problem was...
He did use it because he had an idea and he did talk to... I know her last name is Wong and I can't remember her name. I'm so sorry. I'm not big on pastry chefs. But I was glad to see that was 2 females tonight. MasterChef can be a bit of a sausage party. But I think Pete did have a good advantage for him specifically because she was able to kind of help him start to get a thinking process happen.
It was Janice Wong, by the way.
Janice Wong, okay. Sorry, Janice.
She's listening.
Yeah, absolutely. No, but I want to show respect as well. She's a very talented woman.
No, she's brilliant.
In her field. And there's not enough female pastry chefs out there. So, as Beck Podgy has said. So, I believe her. Oh God. Okay, as we're doing this podcast, we've still got Channel 10 happening in the background and it's muted and guess what fucking ad's on?
It's the bloody floating ice cream.
24 fucking hours of this, folks.
Can we just hurry up and get to the floating ice cream, please?
Oh, and then we can be free of it.
Yeah, we need to get past the floating ice cream. Anyway, so as you were saying.
So as I was saying, so she got to him to kind of talk through the story thing, and I think that's what a lot of people struggled with tonight, was to find an authentic story. And, Pete probably hasn't... He's got the skills, of course, because we've seen him in those challenges.
He's really good at challenges where he might go home.
Yeah, he picks up shit quite quickly. I'm really impressed
If only Pete was really good at the challenges in the first place, he wouldn't have to worry about going home every 2.5 seconds.
But I think all of this is going to be an advantage because you think he's been doing this, which is kind of like, hardcore tutorials for like the past 4 weeks. In a couple of weeks' time, when the chaff has been separated from the wheat, and the wheat start getting into the elimination things, he's actually going to have an advantage because he's been there. He knows what the
Elaine had a few of those last year.
Yeah, exactly. So
you are right there.
And it did turn her up. You know what I mean? Like there was a moment where her skill set just went.
Yeah.
Turned it up to 11.
So the challenge, the reason why I didn't think it was an advantage was because, not so much because he had the extra half an hour. My thing was, if you really want to give the guy the advantage, don't just give him the extra half an hour and let everybody else stand at the side of the room and watch him cook.
Yeah.
Right? What they should have done was lock them all in the pantry.
I don't think you could have trusted them in there with her edible artwork.
Well, then it's more of an advantage because they're so distracted by eating the wall.
I found the snozzberry!
Yeah, they're not thinking about what they're doing. But I just thought for him that the bad part, as far as I was concerned, was it wasn't so much the time thing. It wasn't the time thing at all. The problem that I had with it was they were standing there watching him, which gave them the chance to get extra ideas. Yeah. He just had to do it.
Yep, exactly.
So that's not really an advantage.
But that said, he pulled it off and he pulled it off well.
He did a decent job. I mean, he did a decent job because they didn't really mention him all the way through that cook. As Kira mentioned on her on Twitter when she was talking about her nightly Ray watch. That we haven't seen Ray tonight, which means one thing: competency.
Some people dance or cook in the darkness. Some people stack their veggies. Some people want to be a doctor and talk about their kids. Don't you worry, it's gonna be alright.
See,
because Ray's always there. He won't let you down.
I'm not doing it. Why
not? It's awesome.
I'm not joining you for the chorus.
Ray'll be there. Ray'll be there.
No more. Okay. No more.
I had far too much wine tonight.
Yeah, no more. Now, we were at the flowers point.
Yes.
Which is where I was going to break out some classic Ed Cavalier.
Yes. For all the Get This.
For anyone who was a Get This listener.
And if you're not, get onto it.
Yeah, if you're not, well, your fault.
That was 10 years ago.
But still, be that as it may.
Yep.
They walked into the room. The first thing I thought was the snozzberries taste like snozzberries. The second thing I thought was flowers, flowers drifting by the pig. In my dreams, so sweet flowers, red, blue, and pink. Which was Ed Cavalier singing in a segment called Keith Urban Lyrics, Children's Poetry. And you had to pick which was which. So
that was Keith Urban Lyrics.
No, that was children.
I know, I was being facetious.
I know, so was I.
Okay, so back at the ranch, which I think is called MasterChef.
Back at MasterChef.
Back at HQ.
It actually does bring us to, we'll quickly just talk about who's going to immunity, who's going to the pressure test, and then there's something, a serious point, I know it's unusual for us, that I really want to get into.
Now, first of all, I want to say I have magical powers, because I was a bit shitted that we weren't seeing a lot of the actual pastry specialists tonight, and I've gone, where's Callan? There's not been enough of Callan. Bingo, bango, bongo, Callan.
The second she said it, they switched to Callan.
It's like that.
And then we got 5 minutes of Callan. So Callan, you're welcome for that TV coverage.
Yeah, you're welcome. It was nothing to do with your expertise.
It was all Kristie.
Yeah, or your awesome story.
Sam, Callan, and Diana did an amazing job. The three of those. They did an amazing job through to immunity, and again, 100% deserved.
Yeah.
Absolutely deserved.
Yeah.
Trent knew, you kind of don't put the middle element on the dish. That's kind of going to cost you. All you have left is a gel.
No, that was Samuel.
Oh, Samuel only had the gel. My bad.
Yeah, which he should have piped. I just told him to avoid writing for Nathan. Like, that's just that's just a pro tip.
No, you write for Nathan when you've got nothing else.
Okay. Desperate times call for desperate measures.
Desperate times call for writing for someone else's son. Hey, see how you going? And Bryan is the third person into the pressure test.
Yep.
Now, it brings back a theory that you had.
Yes.
And it's a theory that I want to expand upon.
Yep.
So the theory that you put forward was that there were people like Bryan, like Callan, like Antonio in Bake Off, who have grown up watching these shows.
Yeah. And there's a few people who have, instead of learnt, you just go with your authentic feelings and passion, go kind of into this almost strategic mode.
Yeah, this is where I wanted to hit with it, which is that part of the problem, I think, with people who grow up on these shows, and you saw it in the earlier in the qualifying stuff where everyone was plating like a professional. Now that's fine.
That's great. That's wonderful.
Great. But
love seeing a new level.
It's the focus on plating and the focus on making it look ultra fancy. And if you listen to Bryan when he was doing that dish, Bryan was really focused on Janice Wong does all these sorts of elements, does this. Got to make it look like Janice's. This is something that Janice will really like the look of.
That's my inspiration.
It'll make the look of this. It'll make the look of that. When they're putting those dishes together, the look is very important, but the look only works when the flavours work.
Yeah, you got to really focus on your flavour profile, and that's where the authenticity comes through. Like, for example, Callan, he's obviously grown up watching these shows, but he went, okay, I need a story. I'll go to my grandmother. Now, I do have a gripe about, can anyone take inspiration from someone other than their grandmother, or is this a prerequisite to being on cooking shows? Because if that's the case, I'm fucked and will never be on one, because my grandmother's, like as tonight, I said, okay, one of my grandmothers, you know, she grew cacti and smoked in bed. Like, take that away and make us, a fucking flavour combo from it.
I told you, smoked green ice cream.
Smoked green ice cream. Matcha ice cream.
Smoked matcha ice cream.
Yeah. So, where was that? Okay, so Callan goes, all right, I'm going to make, not a deconstructed apple pie, but I'm going to take the elements from an apple pie, mix it with the roses that were in her house, the scent of cinnamon on the air. Like, he went authentic, as well as drawing on the expertise the skills that he's learnt from these shows. Whereas Bryan, I feel, just doesn't derive inspiration authentically.
Well, I think he does, but I think tonight he just got too fanboyish, and I think.
Well, he took from Teresa Vinton.
Yeah, for the full.
Who I'm sure has derived on other people, but.
Yeah, but I think the problem in that challenge was he saw the way all these dishes are supposed to look.
Yeah.
And went, this is the way this dish is supposed to look. And it looked spectacular. But you can only get away with that if flavours match. And, I mean, I've been to restaurants before where you get a dessert that is really small. Like, in terms of those sorts of portions, don't kid yourself. They're small portions, but they're broken up in a way that looks fancy. They only work. You only get away with those if all of the flavours match and you go, you know what, I really wanted more of that because it's really good.
But I didn't need more of it.
Yeah, but I didn't need more. I wanted more. The problem with, they said, if you just done that panna cotta that was incredible, that one element. And it was the element, if you look, that he put the most effort into.
Yeah.
Right, he worked that panna cotta so hard and it was perfect. But then...
He worked it so hard, RuPaul would be like fucking on her knees praising him.
But the problem was that everything around it then distracted from the panna cotta.
Yep.
And it was more about it has to look incredible rather than necessarily taste really good and look incredible.
And as we're talking about this, I can kind of see where Bryan comes from. Like, when I meet my idols in life, I'll either fucking hide or just turn into a gibbering mess and not be able to talk to them. So, or squeal like a stuffed pig.
I don't know anyone who can confirm that.
I don't know, Liv or Fee. Maybe you can do that for me. But just, so I understand, like, meeting your idols can be a little bit more, bit challenging on other levels, but I just don't think I could, like, meet, say, Linda Carter and wear a Wonder Woman outfit at the same time.
Probably not.
Which is essentially what Bryan's doing here. He's trying to meet Linda Carter and create her Wonder Woman outfit on a plate.
That's probably a decent analogy.
It's the analogy I came up with.
Exactly, and that's why it's the decent analogy.
Yeah.
So, in the pressure test, you've got Bryan, Trent and Samuel. They are the ones who get to make the floating ice cream.
Yeah.
They are the ones who get to make the floating ice cream. They are the ones who get that challenge.
And look, Bryan has the skills. I'm not concerned for him.
To be honest with you, I think that Bryan's likely to ace it.
Yeah, I think Bryan will walk in there and just shoot it through.
And then, of course, Sam, Callan and Diana will go through immunity and we'll see what that challenge is. And it will be the immunity challenge. After the immunity challenge is when we will be next talking to you on the podcast.
Yeah, and I loved Diana's tonight. I thought it was, like, I think she was really early plating up. And there's only a few components on there. There's the strawberries, and I've gone, oh, that looks pretty already. Like, she had me at strawberries and champagne, so... Yeah,
well, to be fair, again, that was like the other day with the auction where I said, bid on halloumi. And leave yourself 5 minutes and then just cook the halloumi and serve it and win. What did you do? Halloumi. And what? No, just halloumi. Just halloumi.
We have a winner.
Winner. So simple sometimes is best, and I think that's the mantra for tonight. Occasionally, keep it simple, stupid. The KISS principle. And with that, we will catch you all next week on the next episode on the podcast.
This feels like it was too quick.
No, it's been pretty good. It's been a decent...
You're trying to get through before we break out into more songs. Or, no, by we, I mean me.
We don't have many more songs tonight.
No, we don't.
We don't have many more songs tonight. And I think the listening audience at home is...
breathing a sigh of relief.
Probably thankful for that at this point in time. So, I've been Chris.
I've been Kristie.
And we'll catch you all next on Tuesday.
Ciao.